You only need a 650 FICO score with credit limits up to $500,000 and average funding amounts of $110,000 while getting pre-qualified in just minutes. Now, in today's video, we're going to be talking about some of the best financial products that you can get with very minimal paperwork. Now, when it comes to the best financial product, hands down, is going to be revolving business lines of credit. I know there's a lot of information about 0% APR business credit cards. That's great. But when we look at the long term, revolving business lines of credit from commercial banks offer the most flexibility because you can get direct cash access. You don't have to liquidate credit cards, and you're going to be able to get higher limits. And in the long term, you're getting lower rates, prime plus one, prime plus two. But when you hear the word business line of credit, you have to understand all business lines of credit are not created equal. So you have the commercial business lines of credit. This is going to be from major banks, financial institutions. But you also have a private business lines of credit, and these are going to be usually backed by private equity companies and direct lenders. So before I get into this, I just wanted to let you guys know the difference between a direct lender or even a broker, because a lot of times you might hear certain companies, for example, like Lending Club or Lendio. Now, oftentimes you might think that's the lender who's actually originating the loan, but in a lot of cases, those are brokers. However, there are direct lenders where they will underwrite loans in-house, but they also have a third-party network. So essentially what they do is they cherry pick the best deals to write on balance sheet. Now, on balance sheet basically means they're using their own money, they're using their own funds to directly underwrite the loans. And ones that don't fit their credit box, that's when they're sending it off to third-party issuers. But in today's video, we're going to be talking about direct private lenders who offer business lines of credit. Now, one of the things that excites me about these private equity, private credit backed business lines of credit versus the commercial banks is that on the private side, they don't really require a lot of documentation in terms of tax returns, P&Ls, business debt schedules. They really just want to see that you can cover debt service, that you have some income coming in. Now, when you go to a commercial bank, they're going to want all types of documentation. And I know how a lot of you guys don't like documentation. So if you don't like documentation, going to the private side is going to be much better. Now, first up on the list, we have Biz2 Credit. Now, again, Biz2 Credit, they have their marketplace of third-party lenders they work with, but they also have direct lending as well. And they do that through their parent company. Now, their parent company is Altria Ventures LLC. Now, Altria Ventures LLC is a financial services firm specializing in alternative financing for small and medium-sized businesses. They connect businesses seeking capital with institutional investors, providing access to funding through a proprietary online platform. Now, what a lot of people don't understand is that you don't always have to go to a bank in order to get a line of credit. There are a lot of institutional investors, accredited investors that provide access to capital for small and medium-sized businesses. These institutional investors will provide what's called warehouse credit facilities to these different direct lenders, and then the direct lenders will take that money and re-lend it to small businesses in the form of term loans or even revolving business lines of credit. Now, again, Biz2 Credit is a direct lender, so they offer term loans that range from $25K up to $1 million, only a 650 minimum FICO score, and $250,000 in annual revenue. All you need to do is create a Biz2 Credit account to pre-qualify. I've dropped links in the description of the video. They also have revenue-based financing with an average funding amount of $110,000. Last but not least, they have a business line of credit up to $500,000, and you can get pre-qualified in minutes. Now, again, I just wanted to reiterate that they are a direct lender. Biz2 Credit, they offer a business line of credit. This is an absolute game changer where you can access up to $500,000. You don't have to provide tax returns or P&L. It's just looking at your banking data and a soft pull of your credit. You can get pre-qualified in seconds, and to date, they've helped over 200,000 businesses. And the best part is that you get a dedicated funding specialist to walk you through the entire process. Now, you can get this business line of credit in 4 easy steps. Just create your Biz2 Credit account, get pre-qualified with tailored offers. Once you get your offer, you can submit a full application and receive a decision within a couple of hours. Get a fast decision as fast as 24 hours with Biz2 Credit's intelligent system delivering fast funding decisions so you can get the financial support you need and get back to your business faster. Now, basically how their line of credit works. Now, this is going to be a short-term line of credit up to 12 months. And once you get approved for the line of credit, you're required to make an initial draw. Again, for the line of credit, you need a minimum of a 650 FICO score and $250,000 based on the last 6 months of revenue. Frequently asked question, does applying for a line of credit affect my credit score? As stated right here, applying for a line of credit does not affect your credit score. So there's no hard pull. Next up on the list, we have BrightCap. So BrightCap have what's called the Bright Line product. Now, the way this works, this is basically like a non-revolving line of credit where you get, let's say, $100,000 and you make individual draws. Each draw is basically treated like a separate term loan. But again, this is another example of a private equity, private credit backed line of credit. There's no impact to your credit score. No, BrightCap has a lot of private equity money backing it. So you have Intervest Capital Partners. They specialize in specialty finance. So they have a portfolio of different specialty finance companies that they're invested in. And across all portfolio companies within Intervest Capital Partners, they do about 13.9 billion in originations per year, and they've invested in over 23 platforms. Now, once again, here's a sampling of the different partners that they work with. As you can see, a handful of different finance companies. Now, North Mill Equipment Finance is actually the parent company of BrightCaps. Next up on the list, we have Revenue. Now, Revenue is an absolute game changer. Again, this is going to be an example of a non-bank type of financing product. Now, right here, I want to give you an example of what their platform looks like. So I'm logged into the dashboard right here, and this is just a 20K spending limit, but I want to give you an example of how the pricing works with this. So we're just going to do a quick example. Let's say you want to draw down $1,000 of your available $20,000 limit. They basically will give you a schedule of payments. Now, specifically with Revenue, the way they work, it's a weekly repayment, and they tell you the total paid, the total cost of capital, and it basically has a schedule. So you'll know by the end of the term exactly how much you're paying as far as the total cost of capital. Now, one of the trade-offs with a lot of the private lending is that you're usually going to have a higher cost of capital. That's not always the case, but that's usually the case. I actually do work with a particular lender. I'm not going to talk about it on this video, where they basically offer prime plus a couple of points, kind of comparable to what you would find at commercial banks. But this is going to be for very well-qualified, well-capitalized company. Now, because of the usual higher cost of capital with the private lending, the speed in which you're able to get access to the funding is a lot quicker. So that's the trade-off. You got a higher cost, but quicker capital. On the commercial side, you get better terms, but higher underwriting requirements. The last example we got here is Idea Financial. Now, Idea Financial offers revolving lines of credit up to $275,000. Applying is free and will not impact your credit score. The Idea Financial revolving line of credit is the most flexible way to fund your business, where you can draw funds on demand. Now, in order to qualify for Idea Financial line of credit, you must be in business for at least 3 years, and you must generate at least $15,000 in monthly revenue, as well as a 650 or higher personal credit score. Now, as it says right here, we pride ourselves on our inclusive lending and offer business loans for minorities, women, and businesses of all types. Now, all of the private lenders we reviewed in this video that offer business line of credit products do not do a hard pull on your credit report. So you're not going to get a hard inquiry. It's not going to affect your funding strategy, and it's not going to impact your credit score. So that's a huge advantage. Another advantage is that usually they're not going to ask you for financial documents, including profit and loss, balance sheet, and tax returns. So if you're one of these business owners who doesn't reconcile their books or don't file their taxes, that doesn't disqualify you from getting access to a business line of credit. Now, if you're going to go to the commercial banks, they're 100% going to ask for P&Ls, profit and loss statement, as well as tax returns. So this offers a little bit more flexibility. The trade-off with that is you're usually going to have a higher cost of capital, a shorter term, but you're going to have more flexible capital. So if you have an immediate business need, you could get funds within 24 hours. Now, if anyone is interested in applying for any of the private lenders, whether that's BrightCap, Revenue, Idea Financial, or Biz2 Credit, I'll drop links in the description of the video. Let's go get this money.